Hey folks, it's Casey McLean here, and I have good news and bad news. The good news is you get a bonus episode this week. The bad news is the reason is because I screwed up the audio. Actually, originally I only screwed up the video, and I told Jess, I was like, hey, this video, it's screwed up. We somehow lost the file for one of our camera angles, but luckily we had the wide angle still, so we were going to put that out with the good audio. And then Jess one day goes, yeah, is that the episode? Is episode 5 the one where you screwed up the audio? And I didn't screw up the audio, Jess. I screwed up the video. Don't put that shit on me. And then I figured out a way to screw up the audio also. I lost the audio. So this episode is just camera audio. Sorry to tell you. We thought it was funny enough to put out, but it's going to be a bonus. And yeah, I hope you still enjoy it. But just know, audio's bad, video's bad. All right, so you can't get mad at me. I told you, shut it off. If you don't like it, shut it off.
Podcast hosted by two white comedians, a stereotype about the blandest ingredients that childhoods didn't prepare them for life. Sexual tension you can cut with a knife. Podcast. Two white comedians. Podcast. Two white comedians.
Hello, folks. We've discovered that Jess is wearing a Gilmore Girls shirt right before the beginning of the second start of the podcast.
We could have left that in. We could have zoomed on you.
Sure, yeah, nice belly hair, close up. Yeah, 1 week we did 2, and it felt like we didn't have enough for 2.
Right.
And then today feels like I definitely have enough for 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Now we're just gonna bomb the whole podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Get ready, and then nothing.
I'll start because you're being a pussy. I did a show with Gabe Rutledge yesterday. Our pal Gabe Rutledge. Yes. I opened with the multi-times viral Gabe Rutledge. We did a show at Seven Cedars Casino in Sequim, Washington. Which is, I would say, not a prestige gig. I'm like always paranoid. This isn't recording. We are recording. Good.
There's no light.
Yeah, that one. Maybe I probably have a setting I need to hit on there. Anyway, this is a gig that apparently used to belong to a booker that's very particular about cleanliness and appearance.
Who could that be?
And no longer belongs to that booker. So it's I don't work for that booker. I've never been to this casino, is my point.
Yeah.
I have worked for that booker before, but I just don't. I have not recently. Anyways.
We've all worked for that booker.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're like, it's been snowing the last couple days. When this comes out, it'll be fucking July, and everyone's like, snow? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's been snowing for a couple days, and Gabe, I was like, hey man, do you want me to drive? Because I'm like, there used to be a time when he and I were at a closer level. Not saying we were ever close, but like he's in a stratosphere so much past what he was just 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm like, yeah, dude, like, yes, you got me this gig. This is like by the way, he shouldn't be doing this gig. It's like not enough money for him, not enough money for the travel that it is. He's losing money by not going and doing a gig out of town somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just, but he's done it 20 times or something before, and he's nostalgic, and he's a nice guy. He's a sweet man.
Right.
And, like snow, but it's all bare. Roads are bare. Not a problem. Bare roads.
Mm-hmm.
We drive to Bremerton, get through Bremerton, and I go, at one point I said, they got like a lot more snow out here than we did.
Yeah, definitely did.
And I was like, he's like, yeah, it does look like there was more snow. I was like, it feels like I'm about to go over a mountain pass right now. Like I'm going to go over Snoqualmie. And it's like, that's what it feels, when you first start going up Snoqualmie and it's like, oh, there's some snow on the side of the road. Oh, there's some snow on the trees.
There's a chill in the air.
There's like the only part of the surroundings that don't have snow on them is the road you're driving on. Everything else is covered in snow. And you're like, oh, this is a little more
Call of the Wild.
Yeah, and dude, by the time we got to because there's like, it is essentially like it's a low mountain pass, but it's like you're driving through the low parts of the forest of the Olympic Mountains.
Yeah.
Dude, it was gnarly. It was very scary on the way out there, and I kept going, well, it's not going to be a big deal because look at the other way. The other direction is like not bad. It's all bare. It's like worn down a lot more than our side. We're like driving on snow. Like it's not. The tires are not touching
You're
asphalt.
seeing the bare road from everybody leaving that area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we get to the show, and it's like parking lot. It's not really snowing at the casino. Parking lot is.
They have that power.
Yeah, of course, of course. The parking lot though is like a skating rink. It's so slippery.
Yeah.
So we make the decision to not sell merch, which for me and Gabe, two merch whores,
Right.
that's a big choice to not
you're
sell merch.
listening to the money loss.
Yeah, exactly. And Gabe suggested it, which I appreciate because I would have been too scared to say, but I'm like, that 30 minutes or whatever might be the difference between us having to stay and swim for the night or...
Right.
Dude, the drive home, first off, it dumped snow the whole time we were in. There was like an inch of snow on the ground in Squid.
Oh, man.
But then also, like, the sound guy was like, oh, once you guys get to Bremerton, you'll be fine. And we're like, oh, okay. We're driving, it's like deep snow. The whole drive. And I'm like, I guess this is what everyone does. I just haven't driven in snow that much. I was just driving slow.
Yeah.
And trying to stay the same speed, not hit the brakes, not hit the gas real hard.
Yeah.
Either way, right? And then there's people that are on your ass and they want to get past you, and it's super annoying. It's super stressful. Then finally I'm driving and there's a dude that's in the right lane and he starts going. I was going 30 and a 60, which to me that was like what I felt comfortable driving at.
Yeah.
And people hated it. I actually pulled off a couple times because I was like, when I was on flat land, I was like, I'll be able to get back on the road, but there's a car behind me. He wants to go 45. I'm never going to go 45, and he is giving me a colonoscopy right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this dude, he's going 20 and puts on his four ways. And so then I tried to go around him. You get into that left lane where there's untouched snow and it's all just fucked up.
Oh, buddy.
Dude, I could not speed up fast enough to pass him. So then I'm just fucking going all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to crash into you, you asshole. Like, you got to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And nobody pulled off for me ever. I pulled off for people a couple times. But yeah, dude. But then we hit Bremerton, and the whole time we're like, this fucking dickhead said it's fine in Bremerton. There's no way it's fine in Bremerton. We hit Bremerton like that. Roads are bare, driving 60, no problem. It was like, you know, have you ever been driving on I-5 where you leave King County and hit Pierce County, and you're like, it's like, brrr, and then it's like smooth road.
Right, an immediate shift.
It was exactly like that, where it was like, oh shit, this is like a whole different. It was like we entered a different climate.
That's interesting because in Bremerton you're like right on the water, but isn't Squim pretty close to the water?
Squim is close to water. Squim is like oddly, I think it's the least rain of any Western Washington city. Because
I was gonna say there was some sort of weather difference in the weather at Squim specifically.
Yeah, but they had a lot of. The guy showed me the sound guy showed me like the some camera near his house that he had access to, like at a golf course. That's like a public camera that they have on their website. And it was like, dude, I mean, it was like 4 inches of snow there. It reminded me so much of because I was like, Western Washington in February? Like, we'll be fine. Remember when we went to Montana?
I was going to
April?
say, the Montana story's got to come up after this, because that was all the things you said, but actually on a mountain pass with truckers, like semis, who all they do is drive. That's their job. Just not slowing down at all, because they got to keep speed to like get up the next hill. So, oh my God, that was terrifying.
Well, and those mountain passes, I will say, are like, I mean, you were driving, which at the time you have multiple sclerosis. We haven't brought it up on the podcast yet.
Yes, each one of them was helping me through that drive.
we prayed to every sclerosis.
All right, guys, come together.
Sclerosis?
I've only ever heard sclerosis, like multiple sclerosis. It's like the same.
We prayed to each sclerosis to help us through. But yeah, the Montana mountain passes are actually a lot, because Montana's already at elevation, so you get into those Montana mountain passes and it's like, you don't even realize you're on a mountain pass. You're just like, oh shit, it's super snowy. Yeah. And we ran into elk. We didn't hit them, but we like ran into herds of elk. Like
deer, not elk. There's a difference.
Are you certain they
I'm
were?
absolutely certain they were
Because
deer.
you know Snoqualmie is elk.
There are elk in Snoqualmie.
No,
There's
what you hit, because I've hit an elk in Snoqualmie.
Yeah.
And I got into an argument with the guy, and he's like, no, there's no deer on the mountain passes. I believe they are elk.
Gotcha.
I think that's, I mean,
I do believe there are deer there as well. Like, it's not like the elk fight there, you know what I mean? Like, if there's deer, oftentimes.
I mean,
there's
folks,
elk
this is why it's called the
versa.
Unseasoned Podcast, because Jess has absolutely no idea, but he's arguing confidently.
No, but I've
done the research by running into an elk myself, and Jess won't give me this
I'm telling
one.
you that these were deer.
Okay. So
I
anyway,
stand by that they were deer.
but anyway, we came across like 15 different
Separate herds of deer.
Right.
Herds of
Yes.
deer. Not just like a deer in the road. We were, because they told us when we left the venue, they're like, watch for deer. When it snows, the deer like to come out into the road, which, great idea. It's amazing that there are still deer in Montana. So we're driving, and all of a sudden, sure enough, like eyes. You see the eyes first.
the reflection off the
And
eyes.
so we're like, both of us just in the windshield driving,
Yeah.
like looking for eyes, and then they'd come up, and then you got to honk, and they don't care. It's like they've never seen a car before. They have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on.
Dude, it's like they've seen so many cars that they're seasoned and don't give a fuck. And they're like, yeah, dude, try something, bitch. Like,
Right.
they have no interest in moving. Yeah, they're I will say, by the way, we hit a very small elk in my wife's. I was driving my then girlfriend, very new girlfriend, by the way. It was so long ago.
Then girlfriend, now wife.
Yes.
This is the same person.
Same lady. We didn't admit to her parents that it was me driving until like 2 years ago, and only because my brother-in-law brought it up in front of my parents. Because it was their insurance.
Oh.
Like they pay, but by the way,
Right.
she's the one that asked me to drive, so it's like it is,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so this that trip was, I mean, and we were trying. It was kind of similar, where it was like I was flying out of the Spokane airport, so it was the reason we were leaving the show is because I was flying out of Spokane to get home for Easter,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like
that's right, because Easter time.
Yeah.
It's like so late
yeah.
for us to be experiencing snow.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm like, no way is Montana going to be a blizzard in fucking April.
Yeah.
I was given an option. I was like, let's take the latest one. Oh, wait, no, let's take the April one because there's no way.
Right.
I got like a list of dates I could pick from. And, yeah, that was also, by the way, like, you and I have been friends for a long time, but like, we got much closer on that trip. That was a trip where we went to
Trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was very scary. And this was just felt very similar. Like it's at any point we could just encounter a fucking hazard in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that was
It's probably full of RFK would hate that you're drinking this, by the way.
Probably. What is it? This is delicious.
It's a strawberry flavor. You know the bubbly, and it reminds me of strawberry like slice or any
Yes.
strawberry Fanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been on a spindrift kick.
Strawberry Crush. Did Crush have a strawberry? I think they did.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, Spindrift is all right. I had one. I had a funny moment with you did the Everett Improv recently. I did the Everett Improv. I was leaving and I had just like a glass of water, like one of those plastic cups of water, and I was like walking out, and she's like, "Sorry, you can't take that." I'm like, "It's just water. It's not." And she's like, "I know, but it's if you walk out with an open container," and I'm like, "All right, well, like, I understand why the cop might be like, oh, that seems suspicious," and I'll be like, "Yes, it's just water. I'm allowed to walk around the streets."
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people are very protective of their liquor licenses. I understand.
That's fair. That's fair.
Spindrift's good though.
Yeah, I like it.
All
It's
right.
juicy. What a
Move
tangent.
Move
What a
on
tangent.
from.
I mean, we can end it there, but also I had to drive you back. We could end it, but I'm not going to. I had to drive you back to Spokane from Montana, get you there for your flight, then drive back from Spokane into Idaho to stay in the room that we got for that gig.
What a
that
silly
was such a long night for old Jess.
Well, hey, old Casey didn't go to sleep. I sat in the airport for 3 hours,
Yeah, wearing my mask that I.
Oh my god, it smelled like paint. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like right. They were like 2 weeks away from. And by the way, in Spokane, I probably could have been fine without a mask because nobody wore them in Spokane. But it was like once I land in SeaTac, they're gonna be mad at me.
Right.
Smelled like paint and sweat and
this
saliva.
These were back when they like you were allowed to wear like just a reusable cloth mask.
Yeah.
So this thing was a seasoned. This was not under seasoned. Yeah. This was quite seasoned, a mask.
We had I remember there were moments when we were driving, and we had these moments yesterday where it was like Gabe and I were talking, like, having fun. We're commenting on how snowy it is, how much so much worse than we thought. And by the way, my wife, she was like, it's gonna snow, and I'm like, it'll be fine. And then I'm like imagining her the whole time, me getting in an accident, and she's like, I told you it wasn't worth it. Yeah. And Gabe even goes, are you gonna tell your wife it was shitty ever, or are you gonna wait a couple days? And I was like, I'll probably tell her right when I get home.
Yeah.
But there were a couple moments where we're like talking, having fun, talking about comedy, whatever. And then, I'm like stressed a little bit the whole time. And it's nice when he stops talking, I'm like, oh fuck. Like this means it's like actually scary because he's like, I can't even bring myself to talk. And,
Right.
All right.
Nervous times. I just did a radio interview yesterday.
I did already.
Radio interview. And that went about as well as I expected it to. We've talked about, I've been on TV once for a news interview. This was what is it? I don't remember the station. It's a classic rock station based out of like Olympia area. It's like a local station. So 3 people got to hear me get interviewed. They set up a call at noon yesterday.
Perfect.
So I had nothing. I couldn't do anything before, couldn't do anything after, just middle of the day. And they called, and I felt there was 2 segments. They said we're going to do a segment. It's not live. Thank goodness it wasn't live, because what a mess that would have been. I'm boring you already. I guess there's really no good end to this story, but...
Well, so my question, I guess, is because when you do it's always awkward. I've interviewed a fair amount of people. I've got podcasts, and I will occasionally reach out to someone I don't know. In fact, as you're listening to this, it was months ago, but like I just released an interview with a guy who the first time I talked to him was on Monday. Yeah. And it's always a little bit awkward, and then when that's like a comedian, I imagine it's weird because you go like, do I try to be funny as the interviewer? What do I? And especially like what I'm always conscious about is like, do you ask? I never want to be like I get asked that question all the time. I never want to hear that from somebody, right? But I did an interview I was supposed to headline a weekend in Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton, Wisconsin. And my flight got canceled and it fucked me and I missed the whole weekend. But I remember like the guys, I'm like giving them my best, but it's like, it's like a couple of 55-year-old dudes that have a morning show. And when I canceled, I remember they announced it, and they announced like who was replacing me. And this guy commented, "That's actually good news because I heard him on the radio. He sounds very boring." And I'm like, oh, not only did someone listen, which I didn't think anyone would listen, but them listening might have lost me ticket sales, actually.
Oh, no. Man. Yeah, there was a moment, so it's 2 segments with a commercial, like a fake commercial break. She was also like, pretend it's Friday. And I'm like, I don't know what I would do differently. It's not like, well, today being Wednesday at noon, like I'm not starting my conversation.
I have a Wednesday at noon Dart League that I'm playing.
Yeah. But there was a moment in the first segment where she literally said, she was like, well, that's not funny. And I'm like, well, that wasn't a funny story I was telling. I was just like giving you facts I was telling her. She asked me like, what kind of stuff I talk about on stage. I never know how to answer that question.
Sure.
So I'm telling her stuff that's not stuff I talk about on stage. I'm like, I talk about my childhood. I talk about and I don't really bring that up at all in my set. But I'm like, I didn't prep.
I mean, you got to answer with multiple sclerosis. You got to take the bull by the horns.
All of them were off for the day. They were not helping me out at all. They're not helping me now.
But did they? Well, yeah, they're not in this room. The dog is doing more for you right now. So did they Because if I would, first off, you could take control of any interview. You have this, because you could just be like, yeah, dude, I got a fucked up body, and they got to be like, then they'll have a bunch of questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't know what to bring up. The second segment, I got some jokes in.
Nice.
You know, I got
after everyone turned it off because they heard the first segment.
She didn't laugh, but I can't. The wife was a can. I had a can of something with me. Good save.
One of the cans on his car blew.
No, but I made the wife laugh on the second segment, and that made me feel good. But,
she was like in the room listening to you do the interview?
Yeah, I wanted her around because I feel more. I like when she's at shows.
Yeah.
Because if she's at a show, I get way more silly. Because then it's just like I'm in my living room.
Yeah,
it feels much safer.
I've always blamed your wife for extending the comedy careers of people.
She's an easy laugh, I will say
She is an easy laugh and a generous laugh, and at an open mic where it was exclusively comedians, she was often the only person laughing. And it was there's her and there's a guy, Spokane comic we both know, named Harry Riley.
Yeah.
And I remember I have a racial joke that I do that at a time I was like, when it was really new, I was working on it, and I did an open mic after the Thursday show out there. I like featured for somebody, and then I went, there's an open mic right down the street, so you can go do this late night open mic on a Thursday, and I go do it, and I'm like, this is the joke I'm working on, but like, I know Harry, I respect Harry, I'm like a little worried. It's hyper woke place, like vegan burrito bar is their vegetarian burrito bar. I'm doing the joke, everyone's horrified. Harry is losing his mind laughing, and I'm like, great. Fuck yeah, dude, is
a Harry laugh is a good feeling.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's always a nice feeling. No, she does not have that like discomfort people have oftentimes at a comedy show to be the only one laughing.
Yeah,
she doesn't care at all. So it's nice to have.
I think she sometimes maybe has the discomfort of the comic not getting any laughs, thinking she needs to fill in the space.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair too.
So we did have snow. I talked about snow. There's two things I've experienced like in the last week that are so much different as an adult than they were as kids. As a kid, because we had snow delays, which sends your life into disarray as a working parent.
Right.
Like you're like, oh well, now I don't get to do anything in the morning, and my wife can be like home for a little while longer because she's also delayed. But it's like now I get the kids. Normally I'm working way before they wake up. Now I'm like, fuck, I got like 2 kids to entertain. Hey, stop. The dog might be a distraction on the podcast. A net negative. She could be a net negative.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a full Patreon episode where it's just her on the couch. Just a video of her on the couch. Jump up on Jess. Give him some love.
Oh, I love you.
All right, come here. Get out of the fucking...
You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Laney. I'm
like the fun dog uncle.
Right. Come on. Get over here. Yeah, you're in deep shit. So those were annoying. We also watched the movie Mrs. Doubtfire with our 5-year-old.
I haven't seen that movie, and I forget about that movie.
Sure.
I gotta. How does it hold up?
It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I didn't know that it was rated PG-13. I was actually surprised it's rated PG-13. They say shit a couple times.
Yeah.
These kids are going to be kids of a comic. Like, they're not going to get away. They're going to hear shit. They're going to hear bad words. Like,
yeah.
I don't want them to say them, but they're going to hear bad words. So we're not like... We try not to have our kid hear just, like, egregious swearing, but if something says the word shit or fuck in it a couple times, they're going to hear it. Like,
yeah.
I grew up not allowed to watch rated R movies.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. I, fortunately, early on in life, my brother lived with us for a short stint, so I got to watch, like, what is it? In Living Color.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And he never held back around me. He's
how much older than you are?
He is 14 years older than me. My sister's 16 years older.
He's 68. Holy shit. I'm saying you're 54 years old.
Yeah.
This is an old joke.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think so. I don't think he is. So yeah, I was always like around swearing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but like I was never allowed to watch like scary movies.
Sure.
Couldn't watch scary movies. It was a long time before, and this is like when I'm just at home with my mom. She did not like me to watch any like rated R movies or anything like that. Later in life, she kind of like lightened up on stuff like that. Didn't let me watch The Simpsons for a long time.
Yeah, Simpsons was off the table. But my parents had some blind spots, like Ren and Stimpy they didn't really know about, and I just would like try to not let them see it.
Yeah, and
Because
that
I would
was
argue
a
Ren
wild show.
and Stimpy, I would argue, is less appropriate than The Simpsons by a
Oh,
lot.
absolutely.
They heard Doug, someone called someone a butthead, and they're like, yeah, you can't watch that. That's like, but then I would watch.
Man.
So we had, where I lived, we had cable. Comedy Central was only available during the day. And then when they would actually show stand-up, well, first off, I wasn't home during the day. When they would show stand-up, it would switch to VH1. So it was like a split channel.
Oh, okay.
So the only stand-up I watched growing up was BT. Like, Comic View.
Yeah.
Like, never, I mean, I saw like Jerry Seinfeld, or I saw like Eddie Murphy Raw, which is not, like, that's just like a mainstream one of the, but, anyway, the, Mrs. Doubtfire, we'll get back to it real quick. So obviously, man dressed as a woman so that he can trick his wife into letting, we got 2025 problems that are just not going to hold up. Like, if you're gonna judge every comedy movie on moral grounds, it's gonna fall apart, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but the funniest parts were actually the stuff. One, it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the movie, he gets fired because he doesn't want to voice a bird smoking a cigarette, and everyone's smoking cigarettes in the studio. That's like, you're like, oh, that's like a kind of progressive thing to like not have this. Bird encourage kids to smoke in any way.
Yeah.
But then he goes home, and so this is where it falls apart as a parent, because as a kid you're like, the mom didn't want the kids to have a birthday party, a huge birthday party, and he gets like a petting zoo, and there's 500 kids. Right. By the way, it's the middle kid who's like 13. It's his birthday. There's kids of every age and ethnicity there. Like it's like, is this kid friends with preschoolers? And the preschoolers just get dropped off at this home in, like, I think the Bay Area. Maybe, I think it is the Bay Area. It's like,
so, yeah.
So it's like an urban townhouse that's just like, they're like, yeah, go ahead, kids. There's 45 kids there with one stupid parent. Like one, and then she comes in and he's got his hat on sideways and his fucking pants are on back. He's like doing the crisscross.
I have to rewatch this movie.
And he does, like, I mean, again, it's like, it's 2025, but he just does like the shit, like he's doing that kind of thing, like what the like black synth thing. And but then even when because you just like, there's so many things that first off, as a kid I was fully on his side, let the kids have the party. As an adult, my wife and I both looked at each other like, I would fucking murder you if you did that. If you undermined me, and then now I gotta clean up like literal chicken shit and goat shit from my. There's a horse in the home that I'm paying for.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing about Mrs. Doubtfire is when he moves out, you see they live in this, like, even at the time probably like multi-million-dollar townhouse, beautiful house, and he's driving like a 1970s station wagon, and you're like, how tight was this lady with the fucking purse strings? But when he does the transformation into Mrs. Doubtfire, when Robin Williams becomes Mrs. Doubtfire, they put him in his which I didn't even get, like, I didn't even get as a kid that his brother, I was like, those are his two brothers. Obviously, those are his two brothers. These, like, kind of effeminate dudes. They're his two brothers. And they called them, like, Uncle Whoever and Aunt Jack. It's a gay couple.
Yeah. Which,
you know, I realized that, like, as a young adult, or even maybe not. But, like, the first time I watched it, I just remember being like, oh, he's got these two brothers who are really good at costume makeup or whatever. But they put him in, he's like a Puerto Rican lady, is the first costume. And it's like, yeah, he's doing like a Rosie Perez impression. And like, oh, none of this would fly. 0% of this would fly in 2025. People would lose their minds.
Yeah. What Who's streaming that?
It's probably Hulu, but we have goddamn it. It might be Disney.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gotcha. If it's Disney, I won't be able to see it, but I'm gonna search.
Is it because you don't support anti-Semitism, or what's? By the way, can I tell you the best deal in all of streaming is especially when you have kids, but even if you Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, and then you can get a Max roped into the bundle also, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Commercial free on Hulu. Disney is like everything. The Disney, and it's got like a bunch of stuff that's not Disney, but that Disney owns now.
Yeah.
It's, just the best deal around.
Don't they own The Simpsons now?
I think so, yeah.
Gee whiz. For now, seems like things are going a different way with the old Disney.
What does that mean? They're
aren't they in some heat? Haven't they been in some heat recently?
I don't know. Is this a current events segment? What are we doing?
You brought it up.
I didn't bring up Disney's current events.
Never mind.
Did they do something?
I think they did something. I don't know. I think they did something.
Okay, well, say what you think it is then, because I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I see stuff. Do you remember
Are we gonna out you as a Republican meme watcher? Like, what the fuck? Tell me the thing.
I see a lot of memes. I guess I don't know. Do you remember?
This is bad podcasting.
Do you remember the original Little Mermaid had like dicks all over the place?
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
There's like boners and stuff. Like the priest had a boner.
Sure,
on the
yeah.
boat. Yeah, that was fun to watch. And they used to spell.
Wait, hold on, folks. I just want the evasion that Jess is doing right now, because he brought up something that he doesn't want to say. I know he's like, remember 30 years ago when Disney's really in trouble for that now.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like I thought there was some heat. Maybe there's not heat. I thought I had a vague memory of there being some heat. If there's not, I apologize, Disney. Please don't come after this podcast.
I think that the Walt Disney's like great niece is like some super woke activist, which is fun. Because it's like it's just funny how like you come from billionaires and you're like down with billionaires, and it's like, all right, well then give up everything you got, asshole. Like I'm not, whatever. I don't love billionaires, but when you're like, I have all of the benefits of being a billionaire and also down with billionaires.
Have you ever? Oh, my pants have been unzipped this whole time.
Oh yeah.
Have you known?
Oh yeah.
Man.
It's not gonna be in that shot. It'll be in that one. We could try to zoom into your.
That's fun. No wonder your dog was over here so much. It is washed. I did clean it today. Have you ever? This is just wildly off topic. Other than dicks, have you ever jerked off at work?
No, especially not that I'm going to admit on this podcast. I don't think so. It depends how you define work. Like, I've been in a hotel on a work trip, probably, and...
Yeah, well, if you're in a hotel, you gotta
right.
jerk off in a hotel.
You must christen it.
Yeah, I think... I'm trying to think of a job I haven't jerked off at.
Wow. Former employers of Jess. I mean, by the way, this podcast is kind of one of his jobs, which is making me a little bit...
I haven't jerked off in your home.
Okay, all right. I don't like the twinkle in your eye when you're home. That seems like you're working a technicality.
Do that.
You're working a technicality. I have jerked off in the alley between your home and the other home. No.
Listen, sometimes I go out to my car, get one out real quick. I get all riled up when I'm here. No, I think I have. I thought for sure you would have a story from like at least your early days working of jerking, because you're so horny when you're first working. You're like,
oh dude, it's a problem.
So horny all the time. But yeah, I think I've jerked off at pretty much every job I've ever had. Not like in the workspace. I'm not like walking around jerking off. But there's bathrooms.
So you go to the bathroom, jerk off.
Yeah.
Come back sweaty.
Yeah.
And nobody. I guess the other part of it is there's that great Louis bit where he's like, he talks about how he what does he say? He goes, I napped too long and jerked off too recently. There's like a shame. You got none of that.
Well, I mean, don't try to sit here and tell me I didn't have shame.
I'm asking. I'm not telling. I'm asking.
No, you have shame. You're a little drowsy now. You're a little more relaxed. Probably my productivity took a dip, bit of a dive.
The anxiety almost certainly took a dip also, though.
Oh, yeah. Stress out the door. out the door.
Sure.
I'm no longer angry, you know, at least for a time, for about an hour after
Yeah,
that.
folks, write in and tell us if you have, because it's interesting to me how
what a
certain
thrill,
you
though.
were.
What a thrill.
Is it a thrill, or do you just feel like a deviant? What's going to happen? Nobody's walking in on you in the bathroom. Are you doing this? Well, I guess that's the question.
It's a thrill in that it's like, you shouldn't be doing this here.
Yeah, I don't really have any of the, like,
away with something.
this is going to make me sound very boring. There's no, like, I have no, ooh, I'm a naughty boy. Like, that's not, I don't know. It feels very childish to me to be like, ooh, it's so naughty to be touching myself at my place of work.
Well, you've never done it, though.
Right, because it's not appealing to me. It's obviously appealing to you. You're a sick fuck, but...
Listen, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is
enjoyed
obvious,
it.
because you've done it at every employer you've had.
So you've never jerked off at work. Have you ever had sexual relations with another party on the job?
No. I mean, I've been with my wife since I was 23, so...
Yeah, but you had jobs before then.
Yeah, but I didn't, like... I mean... I don't even think it...
You never, like, dated anybody
that I worked with?
You worked with?
No, the closest I came is my wife. I was, she was, like, my... This is... Folks, you want to hear about a feminist icon. I was the editor-in-chief of a college newspaper, and I hired her.
This fucking guy.
I hired her to be an editor on the paper. And then she flirted with me, and I was like, sorry, I'm your boss. Mm-hmm. And she was also dating someone else at the time. Mm. And I was dating someone else at the time. But 2 years I let go by.
Yeah.
A year after I had seen her. I had been her boss forever. And then I snaked my way into her life.
That's fair. I've never had intercourse on the job.
You did blow a guy in an apartment he was painting once, though.
Listen, you paint with a guy long enough, eventually you're gonna blow him. That's natural.
You gotta spackle. One must spackle.
I did, but you're on the right track though with the blowing. I have received fellatio on the workplace.
This is why we don't say our wife's name on the podcast.
She knows.
Oh, I was assuming she gave it to you. It was not
my wife.
Okay.
No. This was back in the Dairy Queen days. If you ever go to the Dairy Queen on 72nd and Hosmer, just know there's been blowjobs in that office.
And that's how Jess got a promotion.
Actually, she was the one that interviewed me for that job. Yeah.
So there was you were. Never mind. You were Me Too'd in the 90s.
Yeah.
I had, there was a girl, so my first job was at Taco Time Northwest.
Yes, we talked about this, I think, on the last episode.
That it was my first job, and maybe, I don't remember what, I certainly didn't talk about this thing I'm going to talk about, I don't think. There was a girl I went to high school with that had worked there previously, and the manager, she had started dating, and there were like, this girl was like one of those girls in high school that's like, she's very attractive, but like doesn't seem to realize, you know what I mean? Like very approachable, very nice. Yeah. And seems like very put together. This dog, if you fucking flirt with Jesse, hey, we're doing a show.
It shocked me.
It's a television program.
So staticky.
Yeah, so the okay, you got it. Laney, no licking.
Picking up licking noises.
Yeah. It's
all right.
What licking
You're gonna get us in trouble. It feels so wrong.
Yeah, it's like right in front of my face. Have you no shame? Have you no decency? Have you no discretion, dog? But yeah, I remember hearing stories of like, oh yeah, she used to fuck on this desk and I was like, oh, like that was, I will say, I was like, this was a girl who I thought was like kind of prudish. And then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, they're out there. They are out there. I just did a road gig down in Southern Oregon. Mm-hmm. I was in Central Point, Oregon, and Coquille, Oregon, and at the Coquille show, the opener was up. There was supposed to be a host and then another opener, and then me. The original host, bailed out of the show for whatever reason, couldn't make it.
Doesn't like Jess Everett.
I guess so. I got enemies down south. But
That actually is true.
do I?
You were a meth addict in Oregon, weren't you?
I was fun. I didn't have enemies at the time.
Okay, all right.
I think my only enemy down in Oregon was myself.
And Johnny Law.
yeah, they had an issue with me. We're cool now. We buttoned things up. But there was the gal that's opening now, instead of doing 10 minutes, she's going to do 20 minutes. There was probably 10 minutes left of her set, and I'm in the back of this theater, and I get like, I think we've talked about like pre-show bodily issues that we've experienced. Now all of a sudden, I have to, at the very least, fart a bunch right before I go up. For whatever reason, my body gets very gassy.
That's such a funny way to describe it.
Well, because oftentimes behind a fart is a poop knocking at the door.
Of this I am aware.
A fart is just the whispers of a poop coming.
Sure.
It's letting out its secrets. So I'm farting. And
Thank you for the clinical diagnosis.
I'm trying to put my body in rooms that other people are not going to frequent anytime soon. So I'm going into like the it's like one of those theaters, they do like melodramas. So there's fucking tap shoes. They got the like dressing room.
You can fart on tap shoes. Those are non-porous.
I was farting into tap shoes.
Yeah,
I hate tap dancing. I absolutely hate tap dancing. So I was
don't do the bit. You have a bit.
I'm not going to do the bit. I'm just saying.
All right, do the bit.
I was farting into tap shoes. It never works. I'm not going to do it. But
it doesn't ever work.
It never. Try as I might, several times in my tenure as a comic, it's never worked. So I'm farting into tap shoes, and I'm checking my time because I'm like, eventually, I got to go up soon. But now there's a poop coming, and it's not something I'm going to be able to hold. It's not one of those situations where you get on stage and everything, your body's just like, all right, we don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to shit my pants on stage if I go out there. So I'm like, if she brings me up and I'm not around, I'll make something fun out of that when I do come out on stage. So I go into the bathroom, and it's one of those situations we've talked about on a previous episode where you're so ready to shit that you're beginning to shit before you're on the toilet.
Yeah.
And so I take just a big long snaky poo right before I go on, and I'm trying to clean myself up. And fortunately, I made it. I got in there. I got out of it in time to then go on stage. But it's the closest I've ever come.
You and I share. I have two things on this. You and I share a thing that I'm surprised so many comics are offended by, which is we will occasionally send each other, for medical purposes only, pictures of our stool, which I enjoy quite a bit. We haven't done it recently.
It's been a while. Yes.
But yeah, every now and then I'll be scrolling back through our texts. I'm like, oh yeah, that's shit Jess took in February of 2023. Wow, that's quite a
we have
monster.
very well documented our movements.
Yeah, and I mean, mine look like before and after weight loss ads. Like there's some that are very thin and some that you're like, holy shit, how do you fit? Like I birthed a child out of my asshole. I do like that. I will say there was so many years ago I recorded this 25-minute it's called Baby Weight EP on YouTube, and I'm actually I have a better recording of it, I think, that I'm gonna try to release at least in part at some point, but it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's like the earliest material. And especially when you start doing material about kids, I have noticed it feels very pathetic to be telling a story about your child being born as they are already walking and talking, and, it dates the joke, because you're like, well, yeah, he wrote that joke. He obviously wrote the joke like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get these, like, a couple kid jokes out. That's kind of the deal with the special that I put out also, is like, I could have waited on a lot of that material, but some of it's like, I mean, I had a joke in my act where I said, my daughter, I go, you're 4 years old, you're not making memories. When I first started telling it, you're 3 years old, you're not making memories. Mm-hmm. Now she's 5 years old. I'm like, eventually she is making memories. Like, I can't, like, it's just a biological fact that she at some point started making memories. And so, anyway, I had this 25 minutes of material and I was like really dialing it in. And the last time I was at Joker's Comedy Club in Richland, Washington, I was there with a guy named Augie Smith, who's a comic that I respect a lot, but is a guy that, like, we almost made it the whole weekend with him really liking me, and then we got into a thing about, like, comedians as philosophers, as, like, modern philosophers, and how I think that's such a stupid framing of comedians. And I don't think Augie Smith likes me, but the other reason is, but again, I think he's an amazing comic. He's so talented. He has a joke that is like, he puts himself so far out on a plank, like, that it's like, if it doesn't murder at the end of this joke, like, I can't even imagine open micing it, because it's like, you're carrying these people 3 minutes of tension with very few laughs.
Yeah.
But then at the end, it's like, explodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which it has to, because you've drug this shit out for 3 minutes. Anyways, such a great comic.
Not a philosopher, though.
Not in my opinion. In his opinion, yes. Anyways, the whole weekend, I'm just like kind of refining this set, right? And I have it down to like, I know what 25 minutes is. I get done the last set of the weekend, Saturday night. And this is a show, by the way, at this comedy club where you have to be off stage by 9:20 because salsa dancing is coming behind you. This might not be true anymore. Salsa dancing's coming behind you, and they make way more money off salsa dancing than comedy. So get your ass off stage an hour and 20 minutes in. So they're very tight on time anyway. I get off stage. He is fucking panicking, getting his pants up, and goes, "Did you fucking go short?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I've been doing this set for fucking a year preparing to record it." No, I didn't go short. Yeah, I did. I missed like 5 minutes.
Oh, damn.
But he was in there taking a shit.
Yeah.
And had to like pinch off, no wipe, no hand wash, go up and
buddy.
I know.
Wow.
I felt very bad. Once I realized I like listened to my set, I was like, oh, I missed like a huge chunk that was like,
yeah,
it was completely my fault. Like, you're right. I fucked up.
Wow. What a mess. What a mess. Was that a situation where the salsa dancers are arriving toward the end of the show and you can see them waiting? Like a karaoke.
Yeah.
Like how they do karaoke after comedy, and the karaoke people are like, they just want you off the stage so that they can...
And there's legend of, if you go longer than 9:20, the salsa DJ will just start setting up on stage while you're performing.
That's great.
Which I've never seen it. That's just legend that I've heard. But what a wild situation.
Yeah. My grandpa, my mom used to always tell me that my grandfather, when she was young, they'd have people over at the house. Mm-hmm. And when he was ready for them to go, he'd just start turning lights off and walk. He'd take the dog out, start turning lights off, turn the radio off, and just go to bed. Rather than ever saying like, "Hey, it's like getting late. We should wrap up." He'd wrap it up on his own.
That's amazing.
I always thought that was great.
Do you ever have conversations where you end them and you're like, "Oh shit, I just walked away. I didn't even like say anything." I'm like, "I wonder if that person thinks I'm an asshole." And I do that somewhat often where I'm like, no one gets, I mean, it's not like the people stop talking to me after, but I'm like, oh, that kind of might have come off as a dickhead move. I'd have to like, you'd almost have to have me do it to you and then have me point out to get what I'm saying, I think. But
Gotcha. I'm trying to think if I've ever, I'm sure I have. I'm sure, because it's especially like after a show when you're talking to people and then you have other people coming up to talk to you. I've definitely had several moments where I'm like, oh, I just like turned away and then never came back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is like turning away to nothing, though. Like, literally not interacting with anyone is better than continuing this conversation. It's the way someone could interpret it if they were feeling bad about themselves. I want to talk about one more thing because we got 10 minutes left.
Is that golly? I think
golly.
I talked about a couple of things. I had a whole laundry.
We actually really do need to set up a clock. I'm gonna get a better clock. I had one over there, but then I abandoned it. But I want one like above the TV. I can like hit a remote and go fucking. That's the time. Like a basketball.
Yeah.
We were watching this show. English Teacher. Have you seen it? So it's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on there that we saw this where they had an episode where they all got drunk and they were talking about poppers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever encounter poppers?
No. I mean, I guess I wasn't around enough gay people.
Well, here's the thing that I would say. My exposure to poppers was, I grew up in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
I had very homophobic friends.
Yeah.
And they just were like, we heard about these things, poppers. And so, because do you know
You guys want to loosen your assholes up?
But that's not. That's not what they. That is one of the things that they supposedly do. But that's not the only thing that they do. They're smelling salts.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, but they give you like a huge head rush.
Mm.
So actually, I think like Joe Rogan's had people doing smelling salts, or maybe he doesn't anymore. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that at some point
there
I've
was
known.
a stint definitely where he's pulling out smelling salts.
Sure, I don't know how much worse or better these ones were, but you would like take a big whiff, and you would get this. It was like a 3 minutes, like 15 seconds of really strong, like head rush.
Yeah,
and then like 3 minutes of come down. And then there was like you would get a headache if you did it enough times because your blood, I don't know, what the blood in your head is all, I don't know how headaches work. Like the blood, because it like constricts your blood vessels, I believe.
Okay.
Or opens them up or something. I don't know. It does, whatever it does, it can give you a headache after enough time. And, but it was funny to me because literally, I mean, when we found out that gay dudes use poppers, this was like we would get drunk and just do poppers. But in any other, these are like.
Where do you get them? Or at the time, where were people sourcing these poppers?
Yeah, so I believe that they were at like fucking Lover's Package or whatever, but it was called a video head cleaner. Is what they were what they were sold as.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's and by the way, this fact check me because this is just what my either legitimately correct or secretly gay high school friends were telling me. Yeah. I never bought poppers myself, but we would like, it's on paper, you're like, you sat around with a bunch of dudes right. drinking and doing poppers, just and you call these guys homophobic? No, I don't think so. I don't think they were homophobic. I think they were trying to fuck you.
Interesting.
So you never came across them at any point?
No.
They're not like, I mean, they're not like, it's not like taking a popper makes you gay. It's not like it's doing Molly or something like that.
Makes you gay. Casey.
Exactly my point, Jess.
I want to say, I have to point this out because I've noticed it every time I'm here. When I look at you, you are surrounded by crotches. You said
that
so close to your face. It's like you're in a wreath.
I think I will say this backdrop of the couch didn't end up looking on camera the way I thought it would, so it's probably going to change. I have some like acoustic panels and stuff I'm going to put up. Yeah. But when you pointed it out that day, it made me think of, and by the way, this is not going to do any favors to I'm actually not gay. I remember the first, I went to 2 gay bars on accident. The first, exactly, here we go. Yeah. I went to, my friend was having a birthday get together at, it actually was the friend that just passed away, that I talked about on the last episode, I think, or I've talked to you about it. Yeah. He was having a get together in Capitol Hill, and there was something on, what's it, like Diane's on Broadway is like a diner. There's like a diner. Mm-hmm. And in the same structure on the other corner of the building is a gay bar. And I walked in, and it was just like, I walk in and I'm on the phone with my friend, and he's like, yeah, dude, we're like in the back by the cash registry. Walk in, take a right. I walk in, and it's like 100% of the men in this, it's 100% men. Yeah. 100% of these men are wearing full wedding gowns. Oh. And I'm like, I'm open-minded. Whatever you're doing for your birthday is cool. This is not what I expected for the birthday. I walk all the way through this place, and they're like, and I'm like, sir, Can you tell me? I'm looking for my friend. And I'm like looking fucking the most uncomfortable of anybody. Obviously, I mean, these guys are in wedding gowns. They're feeling great.
Yeah.
It's the day of their wedding. I'm in there, you know, intruding like I'm a fucking vendor at their wedding. And, yeah, I walk all the way through the place because the cat. They were like, yeah, it's in the back on the right. So I walk all the way to the back corner of this place, expecting to find a cash register and my friend sitting at a table.
Yeah.
They are not there. They're at this quiet, divey diner. Mm-hmm. And then another time I went to what I think it's something Rose. At the time, it was like an iconic gay bar in Capitol Hill. I haven't been back since to find out the lore. But I went there because I won an award for college journalism. And my friend and I co-wrote this article. So we go up, and it's him and his wife and me. And we go into this gay bar, and we order drinks. Don't know it's a gay bar. Don't care. But we get, like, my friend and I get just amazing service. They're so nice to us. And, like, they're very, like, flamboyant dude behind the counter. It wasn't, like, any secret that this guy was gay. They were so rude to my friend's wife. They were like, this is the only place where we're getting better service than her was in this. And I was a cutie pie back then, like, compared to now. I'm not getting the same service now unless they have a bear fetish, I think. But so then what this reminded me of when you pointed it out to me is the next time I went to a gay bar, the first time I had been to a gay bar on purpose, my sister had her like best friend in college was this 6'5", 300-pound like German dude that happened to be gay. And by the way, perfect guy to be as a protective brother, perfect guy to be friends with my sister.
Right,
I'm like, he will protect her and not try to fuck her. This is like the dream best friend, right?
Yeah.
And we go to this gay bar, dude, and it is on the wall is just close-ups of like Tom Selleck in Magnum PI, like in a Speedo, and it's just zoomed in on his. It's him. It's just him on the wall, like those kind of photos, like him in a Speedo, and then in the bathroom you're pissing, and it's just like his junk is like a foot tall. I guess that's actually a realistic possible. It's huge. It's blown up to a huge size directly behind the urinal. Yeah. So you're just face to face with a 4-to-1 scale sized image of Tom Selleck's dick and balls right in your face. I was like, this is a little much for me. Like I'm whatever you fellas do what you like, but this is a little much. The decorations are a little aggressive for me.
I've never been to a gay bar.
You bigot.
I would go. I don't like the thing that people do where they're like, let's all go to the gay bar, like as like some novelty.
Sure.
That's weird to me. I
had a friend, because my wife went to a gay bar for her bachelorette party, and part of the thing was it was like all married ladies, so they didn't want the like men leering and hitting on them and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that. I did have a friend. We have a friend that's bi, but like I think predominantly dates men. He's a man. What did he call it? Like not visiting, but like maybe it was visiting, but it like they don't like. He doesn't like the idea of people like visiting a gay bar. Like
treating it like a zoo,
right? Yeah. But to me, it's like just because they don't want to fuck the same people as you doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to be in that bar. Like I hope my wife isn't going to the bars she goes to so that she can fuck dudes in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think intent is important, but I would think that's got to be annoying to just have like gaggles of women coming in and.
Well, don't get me wrong. I can see where gaggles of women would be very annoying, but I think to be like, you can't come in here if you're not gay is like a crazy.
Right.
You know what was annoying to people in the South in the 1940s? Something that shouldn't be legal for them to be that annoyed by.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should end. I think we're done. I think we did it.
We got to be well past it.
All right. Casey McLean comedy everywhere. I'm Jess
Everett. Yeah.
We got to get better at plugging at some point during the show.
Yeah. Well, eventually we'll be able to plug things that are actually upcoming.
That's true. That is true. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody. How long? That was like
58 minutes.
Oh, there's only. I thought for sure we would have gone over an hour by then.
I don't know if there's probably a little bit at the beginning that we'll cut because of the. But I think not going over an hour would be good.
Yeah.
And we can start.
With that.
We can start like even just into our phones, say in our plugs, and I can plug them into the middle.
Yeah. Oh, Cameron is in Everett now, finally. Like, legally in Everett. I guess it takes
I thought you said in Everett, not in Everett.
No. It's funny to me that you have to, and we can talk about, I had this written down. We can or cannot talk about it later, but it's funny that you get married and then they make you wait 30 days before you can change your name. Like, are you sure? Like,
oh, really? They do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she just did that this week.
I'm crossing some stuff off my list right now so that I don't.
I'll delete. I got most of the stuff. Most of the stuff I had written down. I also wanted to talk about being high at work.
We can definitely talk about that. Yeah. Let's we can try to do 2 next week if you want. Let me see what. Okay.
I think I'm off unless we get like a unit at some other property. I think I'm off until like the 17th or something.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, let's fucking pile them on.
Yeah, that would be fine. I was going to talk about I didn't have it written down, but I was going to talk about how I hate writing roast jokes.
That's fun. Well, we should do that after we do the roast.
Yeah.
Because we won't. This won't come out until, like, the one we just recorded won't come out until after the roast anyway. I think we have. This is our 6th episode recorded.
We did 1, recorded 2 back to back, came back. I think this is 5.
But we had the one from way long ago too.
So when we came back, that wasn't the back-to-back ones?
I don't think so. I think that was the week after.
Okay, so then, yeah, that would be 6.
So that's good. I'll do 2 a week to start with. And then I would like to do, 52 a year, basically.
Yeah, okay.
And then, I mean, maybe we take, like, time out, like, do something like skip a week at Christmas and skip a week a different time, but maybe not. It's... Since we can record them in advance, why not just put them out?
Yeah. I got no problem with that.
All right.
Cool.
Kelsey's she's going out with one of her friends, so I gotta pick up the kids. So Bubbly, Bubly.
Yeah.
The strawberry one of that, I think, is even better than this.
I think we were doing Bubbly for a while. We are on, we've been on Spindrift now for...
Spindrift has some... like juice in it, right?
Like, yeah, so it's more flavorful, but it's still like no sugar or anything.
I think it has some sugar.
I want to say that it doesn't, but it might. I mean, there's juice in it, so you're clearly getting some sort of.
There's no
like
artificial sugar.
Right. No, I don't. No added sugar other than the juice.
I wish that we were... I don't think I talked about it, but I didn't talk about doing the whiskey night at my buddy's house, did I?
Can't remember if you were talking to me about it exclusively or if it was on the pod.
That's going to become even more of a challenge. All right, well, fuck it. Oh yeah, I'll upload those ones that I was telling you about. I kind of think that the 2 cameras is better.
Yeah.
For social clips, it'll be like just...
That makes more sense. Yeah, the only concern